Welcome back to the channel, my friends. Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and today we're taking a look at this week's pre-orders, and they are live. This video is sponsored by CMO Games. More on that later. Alright, so here we have it. Big week for our Warhammer Age of Sigmar players. So we see right off the bat, obviously the big releases are for the Ossiarch Bonereapers and Soulblight Gravelords. So first we have the Soulblight Gravelords pre-order collection. And that is just one of everything up for pre-order, and then also for the Ossiarch Bonereapers as well. And the main difference is being that the Soulblight Gravelords did get dice, and then also they have that White King releasing individually. Otherwise, it would just be 4 pre-orders for each. So $345 for the Soulblight Gravelords or $265 for the Bonereapers. No real savings there, though. It is just a bundle. And then after that, we have the Battletome Soulblight Gravelords, and this is the limited edition. So it is numbered, it is 500 copies limited, and it is $90 USD. These things tend to sell out as long as the faction is relatively popular, and it is 500 copies worldwide. So it's not crazy to think there's 500 people out there that want the collector's edition. So if you are one of those people, you probably got a little bit of time, but I wouldn't mess around too long. And just kind of scrolling down here, we see the Battletome Ossiarch Bonereapers limited edition as well. Obviously, the Ossiarch Bonereapers not that popular. They just haven't ever really hit it off as a faction for Sigmar. They're pretty cool. They're sort of like the adaptation of the Tomb Kings into Sigmar. I like them. I think they're cool. I think they have overall good look. Nagash model is absolutely amazing. There's a lot of really cool stuff in the range. They're just really not that popular. So I have a feeling this one will probably take a little longer to sell out. But hopefully they got the rules changes that they needed to make them a little more fun, a little more competitive. But the one model is a little lackluster. So if you're after either of those limited edition tomes, you probably got a little bit of time, but I wouldn't mess around too long. Then we have the Battletome Soulblight Gravelords, the regular edition. I haven't actually looked at any of the reviews or anything. They usually come out like today, on the day they go up for pre-order, so you can get a better idea as to what has changed, improvements, etc. So definitely looking forward to that, as I do have a nice size Soulblight Gravelords army. And then we see the Warscroll cards for the Soulblight Gravelords, $35 for those bad boys. And just scrolling down a little further, we see the Ossiarch Bonereapers Battletome, cool art on the cover, $55 for those. The Warscroll cards for the Ossiarch Bonereapers for $35. And then we see our Vanguard Soulblight Gravelords. So because the Soulblight Gravelords got their start collecting like substantially later than everyone else did, there was actually like they were kind of coming in as the other ones were going out. So theirs was priced a little bit more expensive. So I want to say it was like right around $115. So the jump up from the start collecting to the Vanguard is not nearly as substantial as some of the ones that were like under 100. And then now we see the Vanguards at 140. The old box was pretty cool, and it did include a lot of Graveguard, which are pretty essential in Soulblight Gravelords, because they just really are what does the majority of the damage in the army. But I really do like the Vanguard a lot more. 20 skeletons right off the bat. The Death Rattle skeletons are awesome. They're super cool models. You have a vampire to lead the pack. She's a pretty cool model as well. Definitely not my favorite vampire, but pretty nice. And then we see the Vampire Horsemen, which are called Blood Knights, and they are really, really cool models. And then we have the sort of multi-part kit for the Vargheists and all those bad guys. You can build like 3 different things, and they fit into the Soulblight Gravelords as well as the Flesh Eater Courts. So really nice setup right there. Good savings overall. Definitely a big fan of this box. I really like it. Hopefully Blood Knights just got slightly more punchy. I really want to see them just like not as focused on durability and able to dish out just a little bit more damage. I think that would really help the book, really help the army, but we shall see. And then we see Ivya Volga, the new model, $35 for her. Pretty cool model, definitely fits into the sort of like vampire, werewolf, cursed city kind of like vibes. Definitely a fan, looking forward to seeing the new rules. The White King on Skeleton Steed is now available individually, very cool model, good in game terms as well, $40 for him. And then we see that Vanguard Ossiarch Bonereapers. And we have not seen a lot of discounted Ossiarch Bonereapers in the past. Occasionally they've been on like one side of like a little battle box. They did get a Christmas box a couple years ago, but that has been pretty much it for the Ossiarch Bonereapers. So seeing them with their first Vanguard box, aka like start collecting, That is really, really cool. It's nice composition overall. 20 of your basic skeleton troopers. We got one of the big crawlers, a nice character, and then of course some cavalry as well. Again, really good savings, like over 35% over MSRP. And I think this will really help to kick off the army, kick off the range. Because to tell you the truth, they haven't really got like a lot of stuff lately. There hasn't been a lot of hype behind them. So hopefully with the new book and then also the Vanguard box for like new players that want to pick up the army, it will be just a little bit more accessible for them. And a lot of times the big package deals are what get people to start a new army because they're getting a big discount on like a bunch of miniatures. So I think this Vanguard box is probably going to be the best for the Ossiarch Bonereapers as they just didn't have one before that. Now a quick message from today's sponsor. CMO Games has been selling Games Workshop products online for over 20 years. They carry the full line of Games Workshop products, including Warhammer 40,000, Age of Sigmar, necromunda, Blood Bowl, paint tools, and more. Almost all Games Workshop products are priced at 15% off MSRP. CMO Games takes pre-orders for most Games Workshop products released at their earliest date possible. 12:01 a.m. on Saturday, they go live. Most of these pre-order products are also priced at 15% off MSRP. CMO Games offer free shipping in the US 48 with an order of $50 or more. Their customer service is top-notch and they ship most orders within 24 hours. Visit CMOGames.com using the affiliate link in the description and let them know that you heard about CMO Games from Warhammer Man. Now back to the video. And then we see the Mortisan Ossifector, the new Ossiarch character, $35 for him. I'm definitely curious about the rules and what's going on there. And then after that, it's basically just on to some Lord of the Rings stuff. So there is quite a bit of the Lord of the Rings on made to order this week. We have the Mordor Orc Warriors, $90 for those. That seems extremely expensive for what you get right there. And then we see the Orc Captains, $27 for 2. The Mordor Orc Bowmen, $32 for 4. I mean, these models look so freaking bad to me. I don't know how anyone could ever justify $32. I mean, Games Workshop is definitely expensive, don't get me wrong. But usually when you're overpaying for something from Games Workshop, it looks amazing. And that's why you're paying that premium. These Lord of the Rings stuff just does not look good to me. Just the models in general. I love the world. I love the movies, the books, all that stuff. But the actual models Games Workshop produces are just so subpar. And I know a lot of that has to do with the size and it's not their fault. But to try to charge Games Workshop prices for this stuff and then get this kind of quality miniature is really crazy to me. So Cave Trolls, $40 a piece for them. Just very generic. The Witch King of Angmar on Fell Beast, $75 for this thing, and this is probably one of the coolest Lord of the Rings models that they have. And again, $75 for that relative to like $32 for 4 little bowmen or something, or $40 for a troll. The pricing just seems really weird on this stuff. And now, like, I'm not really into Lord of the Rings, definitely not into the game, so I don't really know how this is normally priced, but it seems really crazy. So Halbrad, $18 for that. Great Company, 3 of those guys for $32. Eladan and Elrohir, unarmored version, $27 for the 2 of them. And then we have the Kings of Men for $35. So if you're after any of those made-to-order Lord of the Rings products, there they are, bunches of them. I'm not sure how many orders are coming in worldwide for these things, but I can't imagine it is very many. Then we got a little something coming from Black Library, the Last Volari, $27 for the hardback version. We also see the Hollow King, Cato Ezekiar paperback, $16 for that. And then we're just on to what's left from last week. Nothing too crazy here. Vaults of Terra, the Cawdor vehicle, and dice sets. We see the Soulblight Gravelords dice creeping in here all the way at the bottom. $40 for 20 of those. And then we've got the Gondor Ruins, the Necromunda Aranthian Succession, the Vaults of Temeros, Ridgewalkers, the really cool overall like Lord of the Rings terrain. The tower is pretty cool. The mansion's cool. And then we got some leftover like boarding patrols. So boarding patrol Adeptus Custodes still in stock. I did suspect this one would be sold out. So there's probably still a couple of them left there, but wouldn't wait too long if you're still holding out on that one. Boarding Patrol 1,000 Suns, a little bit underwhelming, but you basically just get the chaos spawns for free. I also thought that these Citadel color packs would do pretty well. Games Workshop doesn't offer a ton of savings on their paints. And we have seen in the past that when they do these bundles or when they do deals, they do tend to sell out relatively quickly. Oftentimes they won't even incentivize you with savings. They'll just give you like some generic mug or something like that. These are about like 15 or 20% off. So it is a little bit surprising to see that these aren't even selling out. And then we've got the Boarding Patrol Adeptus Sororitas, the little bundle pack for the terrain. The Enforcer Sanctioner Pattern Automata sold out, so definitely popular there. Everybody's waiting for those Enforcer big boys. And then we see those new Dreadnoughts as well. So I did double check, and I believe it was $39 for just the actual like torso plate, and then $99 for basically like this little package setup, which includes the new torso plate and then just the generic body. And I do have to say, after looking at these things, compared to the old unique Dreadnoughts that Games Workshop used to offer or Forgeworld used to offer, these are really lackluster. I mean, the chest plates are cool. They definitely tell you what faction they're in. But the difference between, say, like this right here and the old Death Guard Dreadnoughts that they used to offer, or really any of these Dreadnoughts and the old ones they used to offer, is very apparent. If you saw them right next to each other, you would realize just how plain Jane these ones are. Now, I don't think it's necessarily a bad idea for Games Workshop to basically produce a full plastic kit and then Forgeworld to just offer like the shoulder pads or the chest plate or whatever. But the truth is, this is good for the company, but it's not good for like originality or like the coolness of sculpts, etc. Because obviously, if they're doing all of their hard work customizing just this little like faceplate right here, and then the rest of Dreadnought's just going to be generic, there's only so much you can do with paint and decals compared to if like the whole model is sculpted. So it's definitely a downgrade, but cool nonetheless. So that is it for this week's pre-orders. Definitely an exciting week for Ossiarch Bonereapers players and also Soulblight Gravelord players. Apparently, nobody got my play on words with the whole death of Games Workshop is coming. I was trying to allude to the fact that 2 new armies from death are coming from Games Workshop, but apparently people just didn't get it or think it was funny. But that being said, let me know what you are most exciting about, and are you happy now that the death of Games Workshop is officially here? I am picking up the new Vanguard boxes, definitely excited to expand my death armies, and then of course going to need some books to know the rules as well. Special thanks to CMO Games for sponsoring the video. Check out their link in the description to save 15%. Make sure to tell them that Warhammer Man sent you, and that's it for today. Warhammer Man Studios, I'm Warhammer Man, and I'm out of here.